Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Manifesting and Motion Monday, right? Today, we are going to be talking about it's time to sell your story. It is time to sell your story. Now, I know you may be thinking like, sell my story? Yes, it's time to sell your story. Too many of you have just been telling your story and have not been benefiting from telling your story, right? You've got a few empathy. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Or man, that's tough. But that's all you've gotten from your story year to date. And so today, I'm going to be giving you some steps on how to sell your story, how to make your story work for you. I'm going to teach you today how to allow your story to launch you versus just simply haunting you. Because if we're honest with ourselves, we've been through some things. And the things that we've been through, some have been good and some have been bad. Some have been horrific. But what are you going to do with that experience? Are you just going to continue to let that experience rest in your head, rest in your heart, rest on your nerves, and not benefit you? After all, the Bible tells us that all things work for the good to them that love the Lord. And so if you love the Lord, no matter what you've been through, it's going to work in your good. And my job today as your global publishing coach is to teach you how to make your story launch you and no longer haunt you. So I'm going to give you 3 steps that you need to take to sell your story. And then I'm going to give you a bonus. So the first bonus is, in order to sell your story, you're going to have to get into the mindset and also accept the fact that 2026, you are becoming an author. I need you first to accept that. You are becoming an author because in order to sell your story needs a vehicle, and the vehicle is going to be your book. The vehicle is going to be your manuscript. So before we even get into the steps doesn't work unless you really accept who you are and who God is calling you to be. And that is an author. That is someone who is going to wrap their message, their story in a book, and you're going to monetize it. We are no longer giving away all of this good content, all of this good storytelling in a world of content where people are making millions of dollars of content, and you're sitting on a gold mine with your story, but you're not sharing it. And when you are sharing it, you're sharing it the wrong way. And so today, you is about to get hooked up with some strategies that's going to change your life, okay? So if you're ready, type in the comments, I'm ready. If you're ready, type in the comments, I'm ready. So let's begin. Listen, you paid for your story. You already paid for your story. And you may be thinking, how did I pay for my story? You pay for your story in time. You pay for your story in sleep. You pay for your story in tears. You pay for your story in heartache. You pay for your story in worry. You pay for your story in peace because it cost you all of that. Oh yes, you paid for your story. So now it's time for you to share the wisdom that you learned from your story. And when you share the wisdom that you learned from your story, you're going to begin to stop giving it away. Stop giving your story away. And I want you to begin to sell your story. See, we've been looking at life the wrong way. We've been looking at life thinking, why me? Instead of being thankful that you were one of God's strongest soldiers, that he trusted with that experience because he knew you would make it out on the other end. Because many people have been through what you've been through and they could not make it through to the other end. They're no longer here. But you made it. And you made it because you're one of God's strongest soldiers. And now it's time for you to share with others how they can make it. Now, some people call these individuals a life coach because they discuss their stories and they teach others how to get through it. I'm not saying become a life coach, but in essence, that's kind of like what you end up being, a life coach. But what I'm here today is to tell you on how you're going to wrap it in a book, your expertise on life. And you're going to sell your story. You're going to sell your pain. You're going to sell the resolution that you discovered by going through. Because we all have gone through something. And do you know the only way that we can make it a triumphant moment is if we decide to use that something and turn it into something special. We don't have to stop at something. I went through something. We can add special to the end of something, right? We can add something special to the end of the experience that you went through, good or bad. But what we have to do is stop going through life and experiencing and paying the price to learn and then not sharing it with the next generation that is coming up. So that's the first step you're going to do in selling your story. You're going to become okay with becoming an author. And the first step is after that is you're going to stop giving your story away because you paid for it. And now it's time to charge others to hear it. Now, let's go to our next strategy on selling your story. You are going to stop storytelling and start positioning. What do I mean by that? We are the most creative beings on this earth. I see us just giving away content, giving away ideas, and not even understanding that that's the come up right there. That is your next business strategy. That is your next stream of income, your story. But somehow you've been tricked into thinking that your story is only good for trauma dumping and trauma bonding. Your story is more than just a trauma bonding activity. Your story is the resolution that someone needs out there. And it's time for you to stop just telling your story to get hugs and to get sympathy and to get empathy. And it's time for you to start telling your story to empower. Right? Notice the difference in the positioning when you use your story to empower versus to just seek empathy. I'm sorry you went through that, but I'm also happy you went through that. Because now you know how to survive. And now it's time for you to go and help someone else survive. Now it's time. Now it's time for you to see yourself as the superhero that you are because you made it. You made it. And that's something to celebrate and not anything to feel guilty about, embarrassed about, ashamed about. Yes, you hurt me. Yes, you abused me. Yes, you overlooked me. But here I am today still standing. And I'm going to help others to stand through my book. I'm going to help others to stand through my manuscript. I'm going to help others to stand by not being invisible, but becoming more active. I remember Terrence Crawford, the boxer. He was doing one of his boxing interviews, and they was in the audience. The opponents was in the audience, talking crazy. And Terrence hit that podium, boom, boom, boom. Let's get active. He like, bring it. Let's get active. Are you ready to get active? Are you ready to get active? with your story? Are you ready to just stop trauma bonding and telling your story and making everybody feel like woe is you? Not woe is you. We're not woeing is youing. We are using your story as a stepping stone in the marketplace. We are using your story not for people to feel sorry for you, but for people to collaborate with you. We are using your story for you to position yourself as the expert that you are. Because many of you have a PhD on life. And you're acting like you're not a big deal. And you are a big deal. You are a big deal because you went through a big ordeal. And it's time for you to tell your story and sell your story, right? So that's the next thing you're going to do. You're going to package your story in a book. And you're gonna lead from your story. You're gonna teach from your story. You're gonna prosper from your story. Now, our last strategy that we're gonna do in selling our story is you're gonna build that platform. You're gonna come on social media with a purpose, with intention of using your story to gain followers, to build your influence and your impact. There's too much doom scrolling and no purpose with it. If you are on social media for longer than an hour, it should be for research purposes. And everything that you like, comment, repost, you need to be seeing how you can duplicate that. Because if it caught your attention, that means that it's catching other people's attention too. And how can you now bring that just caught your attention to like, comment, and share? How can you duplicate that with your a carbon copy, but how can you duplicate it? How can you be inspired by it? Right? So today I come before you just encouraging you to sell your story. Don't just tell it. Monetize your story because you paid for it. You paid a price for it. And you have resolutions that the audience needs to help them go through what you went through and make it. You are special. You are someone. You are a big deal. You are her. You are him. And I want you to connect with Sophisticated Press and let's get that story in print. Now, lastly, I'll leave you with this. A lot of people out here are begging for your stories and are begging for you to become an author, but they're not giving you the full scope of what it takes to be a successful author. Because you can be an author, but are you successful? Are you ready for the work that it takes to get audiences outside of your family, outside of your close friends to buy your book? At Sophisticated Press, we make sure that we give you strategies. We make sure that you are equipped to market your book, to advertise your book. And if you don't want to do it, we assign you a virtual assistant. But don't just let people grab your story and they're not teaching you how to monetize and how to market and how to make income off your story. Now, again, it's going to take investments to put your story in front of people. You may have to purchase some ads. You may have to, purchase some media. But that's okay. Because you're going to get an ROI on it if you are consistent. So don't fall for the okie doke of these people out here and these publishers who just want your story, but they're not interested in you being successful. They're just interested in their portfolio being better and greater. No, at Sophisticated Press, we want you to be successful. We invest in the author. We make sure that the author is impactful and has income from their book. All right? So if you're interested in becoming an author, and if you're interested in no longer just trauma bonding with your story, but actually putting in the work and selling your story and creating income and impact, I want you to DM me or comment below in the comments and let's work. All right? Thank you so much, you all. I hope you have a wonderful and amazing. What do you mean you didn't understand, but I know you're right? If you don't understand, you don't know I'm right. What don't you understand? So I can explain it to you. Because I want you to understand. And I never want you to agree to anything you don't understand. So you can't know I'm right if you don't understand. But if you don't understand, I'm available now to answer a question for you. Because I don't speak English, but I love your energy. Aw. Well, you write in English, so how do you don't speak English? So something is translating to you. Right? That's weird. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm proud of you for understanding some of the simple words. You can always download my video and play it for AI to translate fully for you, and then you will get the full message. All right. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you want to publish a book, make sure that you tune in and make sure you connect with us. Somebody said, are you AI? AI wish it was this beautiful. Okay? But I love that question, you guys. I just want to have fun with you all, right? I want you to understand that being successful and making money can be fun. It doesn't have to be stuffy. It doesn't have to look like anybody else road. It can look exactly how you want it. You can bring your own personality. You can bring your own special sauce, right? You can be yourself. You don't have to be stuffy and corporate. Like, we live in a world now where people want they want the real you. So you can bring the real you to your brand, into your business, into your story, and you can tell that story. Thank you. I appreciate that. Aw. You can bring your own story to the mix, your own brand. And that's why people will like you. Let me tell you something. When I first went red with my hair, there are still some people who look at my red hair and they may think that this is ghetto. But this isn't ghetto. This is my personality. I'm a very bright and energetic person, and my red hair displays that. But there was a time when I was like, some people may look at this as ghetto. But guess what? It never stopped me making any money. In fact, it makes me stand out in a room when I walk in a room. In fact, celebrities still sign up with my company, and I help them make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? But what if I would have been afraid to wear my red hair because somebody would have thought I was being ghetto? So this is what I'm saying. You cannot put yourself in a box and try to please people and try to worry about people. I want you to be your unique self. When you're telling your story, when you're out here in these social media streets, go live, show your face, be yourself. Do whatever that you want to do, because there is a group of people who are looking for your quirkiness. There are a group of people who want you with your special personality. You're not for everybody, but you are for somebody. You're not going to be for everybody, but God has carved out a population of people that when they hear your voice, when they see your face, they're going to gravitate to you. They're going to know that is the person for me in this season. And that's what I want you to pull from today. It's time to come out of the shadows. It's time to come out of the shadows and come to the forefront. All right. So, you guys, I will see you again next Monday. I may go live again this week if you give me some topics that you want me to go live about. But I go live every Monday, and then I'm going to just continue to share this live. You can also follow us on other platforms where the full length of this video will be for the replay. And, you know, you'll be able to see us there. All right. See you all in the future. I hope that you become authors. I hope that you connect with us and tell your story. We believe here that every business should have a book, and every book is a business. So if you are a business owner, a coach, a public speaker, if you are a thought leader, if you are an influencer, you need a book, and you need to connect with Sophisticated Press today so that we can make that happen. You all have a wonderful, dominating Monday and the rest of the week.